Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing a video on the March 2021 paper. So I believe this is for the students in India that take this session of exam, the March exam. There may be some other countries included, but as far as I know, it's India mainly. And the reason I've chosen this paper is because there's a couple of things in there, a couple of unusual things in this paper that I just wanted to point out. But before I begin, just to say, number one, like the video if you find it useful, send me a comment, and please subscribe to my channel as always. I appreciate your support. And the other thing is, if there's any particular paper that you'd like me to cover, please let me know. You're the best judge of what it is that you need. I can go through all the past papers and I can cover bits that I think you might need. But if there's something in particular that you are struggling with, please send me a comment, send me a message, or you can message me on Instagram at Miss Tech Teacher and let me know there, and I will most certainly cover that video with you. That could also be practical, also theory, because I'm going to be doing a series of theory-based videos as well. I'm going to start those very soon because I want those to be ready for your preparation for your May exams. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this paper. Okay, so task 1 is to inspect the source files, make sure that the source files that you have listed match the source files folder that you've been given by your centre. That's the first thing you need to do. Then it says task 1 is the evidence document. So you've been given a document called M21 evidence.rtf, and you've got to make sure your details appear on every page. That means you're going to put your details in the header or footer. So you just open the evidence and just double click in the top or bottom of the document, and then you can put your details in and then double click off of the top, and then that will appear on every single page now. And that's that. I think you have to save this as a Word document, which I would anyway. I would save it as a Word document, so I'll do that. And then we'll commence with task 2, which is actually looking at the document itself. So I went ahead and I saved this, as the question paper told me, to M21 evidence and my candidate number on it. So that's what you were asked to do in the last part of task 1. Now we're ready to move on to the document. So it says to open the file M21 labprac.rtf. So I'll just go ahead and open that, and it will open in Word or whatever word processing software you are using. And then it says we need to save this document in our work area with the name M21 Lab Work. Make sure it's saved in the format of the software you're using, so we need to save it as a Word document. And then it says place in your evidence document a screenshot to show this file has been saved. Make sure there is evidence of the file type. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And so we need to save it in your source files folder, and I've forgotten the file name, so it should be M21 Lab Work. So M21 Lab Work, and we need to save this as a Word document and save. But I need to take a screenshot as well. So I've gone ahead and I've gone into view in my source files folder, and I've selected tiles because it's got the file name and the file type there as well. And then I've taken a screenshot of that, and that will be going into my evidence document as evidence 1. So I'll just paste that in, and then I will crop that. So I've gone ahead and I've taken my screenshot, I've cropped it, I've resized it as well. So I'll just go ahead and save my file, and then go back to the question paper and see what I need to do next. So it says for part 2 and part 3 we need to change the page layout. So it says set the paper size to A4, the page orientation to portrait, and then we'll come on to the margins in a sec. So we go to layout, and we want to change the orientation to portrait, and then the size of it to A4. So it's currently A5, so we set it to A4, and then we need to set the top margin to 3 centimeters and all other margins to 2. Okay. We go to margins, and we want to go into custom margins because we're going to change them separately. So the top one should be 2 centimeters, or 3, sorry. You must make sure the units of measurement are in there because this could be set to inches as well, especially if you're in different regions. Sometimes the default for your word processing software can use different units, so you want to make sure you put in cm for centimeters, and then that will be fine. So that's that. And it says place in your evidence document screenshots to show settings for paper size, page orientation and the margins. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So I'm just going to go into margins, custom margins, and I can see my margin settings for top, bottom, right and left. I've got my orientation also there, so I'm going to take a screenshot of that. And then I need to go to paper because it will show the paper size that's been set. So I'll come back to this in a sec. So I've gone ahead and I've taken my 2 screenshots showing the evidence of the margins, orientation and the paper size as well. So then it says for task 4, we need to put some details in our header. So it says your name, centre number and candidate number should be left aligned, and the text Tawari University Science should be in the centre. And the image M21 image.jpg right aligned and resized to 2 centimeters with the aspect wide, with the aspect ratio maintained and text wrap applied. So we need to go into our header. Details, name is on the left. So we're going to open the header, double click, and if we go into header, I want 3 placeholders here. And on the left, in fact in the center, I'm just going to paste because I just was able to copy and paste. So my details are there, that's there. Now I need to insert my image. So if I go to insert pictures, okay, so this is the image I need to insert, and then I need to resize it. I'm going to pull out the size pane here because I want to make sure the aspect ratio is maintained, and the width, I'm just going to double check what that was, 2 centimeters wide. Oops. Okay, and then text wrapping should be tight, I think. Text and text wrap applied, okay. Tight. Okay. So that should be over here on this side. We've got to make sure it's aligned with the margin. Yeah, that's really important. And then we can double click off of that, and there's the information in the header. Now we need to put in the footer, page numbers left aligned and the file name with its full path right aligned. Okay, so I've opened the footer and I'm going to go to footer here and I'm going to open 3 placeholders. And then firstly I'm going to add in the page number by going to quick parts, field and page. You want to do this so that when you, if you use this option here, it tends to overwrite anything else that's in your footer or header. And then we're going to go to document info and file path. Now that's gone on to 2 lines, which I don't really like. So I'm just going to select that, and I think if I just resize it, maybe to 9, so it's still quite visible, then it's just on 1 line. It's aligned with the page numbers there, and it's aligned to its margin, the right margin, and the page numbers aligned to the right margin. I'm just going to remove this placeholder And it says make sure that all items align to the page margins. We've done that already. No other text or placeholders appear in the header and footer. We've also checked that. No header or footer items overlap. No, and header and footers are displayed on all pages. So I think naturally you just carry out those checks anyway. Now we've got to move on to step 5, which is the house style specification. And it says the house style specification for paragraphs is shown in the table. These styles have been correctly applied to the document, but 2 do not match the house style specification. So this is a little bit different to what we've done before. So you need to now look at this specification that you've been given here, and you need to check that all of these house styles match the house style with the same name in your document. And then it says identify and correct the 2 styles that do not match the specification. So we're going to go ahead and have a look. Now for me, because I don't have my paper printed out, I'm going to be flipping back and forth a little bit, but I'll try to keep that out of the video. But for you guys it will be a bit easier because you'll just be able to view your specification in front of you and look on the screen. So as you can see up here on the home tab in my document, I've got the different styles that have already been created. We're just going to pull out, I just clicked here to pull out the styles pane so we can see them all listed, as well as some of the other default styles as well. If you click here, just hover over, you can now see the details of that style in briefly summarized. But what I want to do is if I click on this tab and go to modify, it will bring up the name of the style and the specifications that have been set out, and also there's a summary here, so I can go through and check each one. So you need to check, so I'll do the first one with you. So lab body is a serif font, and that was Times New Roman, which is a serif font. 12 size, we need to check that it's justified. It should have no enhancements, so no bold, underline, italics or anything like that. The line spacing should be 1.5, and there should be a 12-point space after each paragraph. So let's just have a quick look. So it's 12 points, line spacing after there is 0, so that's wrong, so we need to correct that. There should be a 12-point space. It should also be justified. So at the moment it's left aligned, so we need to change that to justified. We then need to go in, and the line spacing should be 1.5, so I'm just going to go to format and I'm going to go to paragraph, and the line spacing should be 1.5, and the spacing after should be 12 points as well. So those changes I've now made. So this is what you need to do. I just want to check in the summary that everything is visible here. Spacing 12 points after. I'm just going to double check that style. I've checked everything. Body serif 12 justified. Yeah, so that's everything in that one. So that's basically what you need to go through and do with all of them. I'm going to take a screenshot of this now because I know that I'm going to need to show evidence. Press OK. I'm going to need to show evidence of the styles that I've changed. So I'll just show you where it says that. So it says place in your evidence document screenshots to show the definitions of only the styles you have corrected. So I'm going to go ahead, put that screenshot in. I'm going to check all the others and make changes to the other one. There should be one more style that has not been added correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've had a look through all of the styles. The other one that needs changing is lab subhead, so it should be serif 14 left, bold underlined, single line spacing with a 12-point space after. So subhead, so sans serif 14, so it's italic, which it should be bold, not italic. Underlined, is it center? Left it should be, with single line spacing and a 12-point after. So that should also be left aligned, single line spacing, 12-point after. There isn't one, so we need to go to paragraph and put in a 12-point space after. And that's that. So here's the evidence of my 2 styles, lab body and lab subhead. So it's got 2 screenshots there, which is what you should have. So step 6, it says enter your name immediately after the subtitle guide produced by. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then I'll just go back to the question. It says change the page layout so that the subheading, vernier scales and all the following text is displayed in 2 columns of equal width with a 1 centimeter space between them. So vernier scales is here. So we need to include that heading and all the text below, and then we go to layout, columns, more columns because we need to put in the spacing. So it's 2 and the width should be 1 centimeter. Yeah, so like that. And then it says apply the lab bullets paragraph style to the text from the lab book is evidence. So from that text to is bound A4 notebook. So that's step 8. So I found the text that I need to format as bullets. Now you can use Control F to find and type in that first sentence, the lab book is evidence, to save time. I just manually searched for it. Now I'm going to go to the Home tab and I'm going to set the lab bullet style to that text, and you can see it's got the round bullets as well, which is part of the style also. Then it says format the paragraph that starts. These are just some of the items, so that it displays an indent of 1 centimeter from both the left and right margins, an external single line black border and a light grey background fill. So we need to find that paragraph, and we have to apply this formatting to it. Okay, so I'm just going to go Control F and look for that paragraph that I need to edit. So these are just, so here it is. So that, as you can see, makes things a lot easier. So I'm just going to highlight this and start to format it. So if you go into paragraph, so I've highlighted the paragraph, right clicked, and now I can put in the indentation. So it's 1 centimeter from the left margin and 1 centimeter from the right. And then, so that's automatically done that. Now I need to put in the border. So here we go. So here's borders. So if I go to borders and shading, now if I go to box, that's a single line. So it says a single black line. So that's that. You could make it a bit thicker if you want. It doesn't specify thickness if you want it to be a little bit more visible, but it says, so make sure it says apply to paragraph rather than whole text, so it's recognized what you've done. And also you need to go to shading, and it should be a light grey, so I'm just going to choose this 15% grey here because I think that's light. If you're not sure, then you can go for the lightest one, but I think my 15% is still light grey, so I'm going to go for that one. So there we go, it's indented, it has the line, and it has the light grey colour, which is what they wanted. Okay, then it says for step 10, find the bracketed text in the document, insert link to tutorial here, and make the brackets and text bold and italic. So again, I'm going to look in here, so insert link. Right, so here it is. So we need to make the brackets and the text bold and italic, both. So that's that. Then it says spell check and proofread your document. Make sure that there are no widows and or orphans. We've talked about what these are before, and this is in your theory syllabus. Lists are not split over 2 columns or pages. Spacing between all items is consistent. The document is complete with paragraphs intact. So you need to spell check, run the spell check, but you also need to proofread the document to check it for, there might be some words that have been doubled and things like that. So you want to do a quick scan over the document in general to do all these final checks. If I go into review, spelling and grammar, I'll just run the check. Okay, so I've got the spell check running. There's a couple of spelling mistakes. So instructions here, tutorials is missing an I. So I've gone through and I've checked the spellings, and also the punctuation will also be checked with that check as well. But you also need to go in. There's a lot of specific terminology specific to this particular topic. So some things that are coming up in the spell check are not necessarily misspelled words. So let's just go in and check. I'm really looking for widows and orphans now. Okay. So I've gone through and I've carried out these checks. Then it says save your document using the same file name and format using step 1. So you just Control S there, and then you would print your document out and make sure your details are on the document, which they should be in the header and footer. So that's that. Thanks for supporting my channel as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.